quick. Okay, how's everybody doing? This is YouTube, so it's a little bit different than TikTok or Instagram. And I'm not sure how you guys are doing, but I'm not sure if you guys have recently seen, but that online group called The Fold has successfully mass reported my accounts, and my accounts have been banned. My accounts have been banned because of this online group called The Fold. How you guys doing? As you know, I cannot read comments and keep up, so I'm just going to come on here for a few minutes and talk. So my accounts have been banned. I lost 300,000 followers in just about a week, just about 1 week. I lost 300,000 followers. And that group that successfully got my account banned was called The Fold. And so now I'm beginning the legal procedures. If you guys have not seen my website, how you guys doing? Branded a Racist. Please go by brandedaracist.com. We do have different levels of club membership you can join, but really, we're looking for serious people who I'm going to take these people down. But this talk today isn't necessarily about what I'm doing with Branded a Racist. This talk today is that I'm heading over to the right. How you guys doing? I'm heading over to the right side of politics because some people on the left have pushed me away, and what they've said to me is they branded me a racist. It's just so ironic to even say those words out loud. It's, so The Fold, that's that. I just saw the comment there. The Fold has successfully gotten my 300,000 followers banned, and whether you guys know it or not, but I was one of the top rated channels on TikTok. My channel had 20 million views from June 20th until December 20th, 20 million. So that's a lot of views on my channel. Hey, how you guys doing? Nice to see you, Shauna. How you doing, honey? Nice to see you. Shauna's one of those people who's a supporter of mine. Yeah, with Justice for Caleb, I can't tell you guys, there's some intricate details here that I can't tell you guys until I depose some people with Justice for Caleb. And one of those people I am deposing is Caleb Slay's mother. She told I can't say anything. I really can't say anything because it could affect the outcome of the case if she lies. And so, hey, how you guys doing? Good to see everybody. So what I came on here today to say to you guys, the people who are auditors and are First Amendment people and constitutionalists, is I'm going to have to head over to the right side of politics. I just want to be upfront with everybody. I have to go to the right because the left has shoved me away and called me a racist. Really. I go on my page every day, doesn't matter. I still have one TikTok account left that I've had to private, so it gets no exposure. You guys can follow it, Chili Castro 2022 _2022. And so I'm going to have to head over to the right because I have, as you know, everybody watching this, if you're watching this channel, you know that the ambition I have is to overturn Terry versus Ohio. How you doing, Cop Block? Good to see you. Terry versus Ohio has to be overturned. And the people who enforce Terry versus Ohio are cops. So I'm kind of making this video for my new friends on the right. I just went to a big right-wing convention. I wouldn't call it right-wing. I would call it more constitutionalist. But I was just there. Good to see you guys. I was just there. I was just at this right convention. And I just kind of wanted to make this video to kind of just let the people on the right know that I'm coming to the right and I'm going to be joining you guys on the right a little bit, right? But there's not going to be any cops sucking, okay? I don't like cops. I don't respect cops. I'm not going to be nice to cops. I just want to be clear here, right? I'm also pro-choice, and I had a few discussions with some people about being pro-choice at the convention I was at in Phoenix. But pro-choice, pro-life, you guys can argue about that all day. However, I just wanted to be clear, and I'm just going to say it a few times. There is not going to be any cops sucking coming out of me. I don't like cops. And I posted an audit today where these cops pulled me over for no good reason. And they broke their own city municipal codes according to the Maricopa County signage. Hey, Paul, how you doing? So I'm just saying. I just want to be clear with people who follow the channel and follow what our mission is to overturn Terry. That does not change. Free Eric Brandt. Eric Brandt is still in jail, guys. Eric Brandt is still in jail. So I'm not going to change who I am, though. Unfortunately, the politics on the left have gotten so ridiculous that they're pro-mandate. They're pro-mandate. And I've gone over this a dozen times with you guys. The mandate creates the prison industrial complex that we live in today. And then the next mandate of the war on drugs creates the mass incarceration state that we live in today. So there's not going to be any cops sucking going on out of me. I don't respect police. I'm sorry. If you can't handle that, then you and I can't align. I do not respect cops. I don't like them. I don't appreciate them. I think that they are a bane on our society. Now, we could actually do some good if we took cops and we put a third party over the top of them. Like a condom. Like a condom, just like it, right? The main meat is still there, but there's a prophylactic over it to make sure it doesn't hurt anybody. And even still, there's going to be some seepage, and some people are going to get, right? It's a great analogy. It really is a great analogy. But I just wanted to be clear. I wanted to come on here and I wanted to be clear. The reason why we have this mass incarceration nation is because of police. Police have been willing to enforce and arrest people for no good reason. I mean, if you guys just saw the audit I posted today, the reason why I kept telling the cop the road was closed up there, because there was no signage that told me the road was closed, or I wouldn't have tried to take a right on a closed road. You understand? And since I've read so much law, I've read so many municipalities and city ordinances, and you name it, I've read it. People contact me about something, and then I got to look it up. And they contact me about something, and I got to look it up. Well, 25 years later, after leaving 18 years old, guess what? I've learned so much stuff. It's absolutely incredible. You know, honestly, and people will make fun of me, and that woman took a little clip of my YouTube video and she put it on her TikTok, making fun of me, taking a little clip. That's called intentional infliction of emotional distress. Denise, you're screwed, baby. But that's okay. That's okay. You can just keep doing it, right? I never saw myself as an intelligent, huge brain. I understand now that I know a lot of information. I understand that now. I understand that I know more information than some people. And some people know more than me. I'm not the end-all, be-all. I'm just like everybody else. Just a regular old schlep who decided to educate himself. But I just wanted to be clear. There will be no cop sucking from me. I have to go to the right. I have to work with people on the right. And we needed them the whole time anyway. I kept on telling people on the left, we need the people on the right. Because there are racist holdings in our country. I've gone over them in amazing detail. I've gone over the racist holdings in great detail. Yes, there's racism in the criminal justice system. Yes, there's racism at the Supreme Court. Yes. I read a post today from one of my new friends I met on the right, and he was talking about how the leftists are bashing Clarence Thomas. Well, let me just tell you, people on the left won't identify me as being on the left. So this is coming from someone who straddles the line of left-right. Clarence Thomas is horrifically bad. He's a bad guy. He's a bad person. Matter of fact, he's not even smart enough to go to Yale. I'm sorry. I'm not against affirmative action. I'm all for actually giving people who don't get an opportunity a chance. But Clarence Thomas's intelligence, I would bet that you, me, and most people watching this are smarter than Clarence Thomas. The guy literally is a moron. He works hard. He studies hard. I respect the effort that Clarence Thomas put in to get through Yale, but he was appointed to Yale. Remember that. He was appointed. Clarence Thomas was appointed to Yale. He didn't get to go to Yale. He didn't apply and say, hey, here's my wherewithal. If I want to go to Yale, I have to score in the top 1% on the LSATs. For me to go to Yale, I've looked into it. I'm over 40. That means I have to be in the top 1% to go to Yale in the LSATs. That's where I have to score for me to go to Yale. Clarence Thomas was appointed to Yale. And I saw one of my conservative friends today talking about how the left is demonizing Clarence Thomas. No, my friend. No. We all demonizing Clarence Thomas. He is an absolute piece of garbage. Clarence Thomas wants to overrule Mapp versus Ohio. Clarence Thomas wants to get rid of Mapp versus Ohio. What does Mapp versus Ohio do? It limits searches and seizures of your home. It limits searches and seizures of where you live. Clarence Thomas wants to abolish Mapp versus Ohio. That's what Clarence Thomas wants to do. That's on his agenda. And if you don't know, Clarence Thomas is one of the leaders of the Supreme Court. Remember, he didn't talk for 10 years. He didn't talk for 10 years so he could have the ball the next 30. And he's got the ball. And he's the only black Supreme Court personnel because he was appointed. You don't call someone a justice who's appointed for life. There will be no cop sucking. It will never happen. There will be no respect for an absolutely ridiculous and racist judiciary. If you didn't know that, now you know. And when you talk about gun rights, every single gun right we've ever lost, ever, has been passed by either a Supreme Court justice who was a conservative or by a conservative president. The last two, Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan. You see? The idea that we buy into the left-right duopoly has got to come to an end. We need a third party, the centrist Peace and Liberty Party. We need a party for freedom that doesn't agree with mandates and fights both the left and the right. They are both tainted. They're tainted. Doing pretty good with my language. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not cursing because I promised myself not an S word, not an A word. I'm not cursing anymore. No matter how upset I get, because talking about this makes me upset. If it doesn't make you upset, then we're just a little bit different because I absolutely love this country and I want to change it. And so I'll do anything. I'll work with anybody if they're an agent of change. I don't give a crud who you voted for. I don't give a crud about what you believe and I care if you actually want to change the country for the better. I don't care what you said when you were 14. I don't care if you've been branded a racist like I've been branded a racist. I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a hoot. Don't pollute. Okay? What I care about is that you're someone who wants to change this country. You're somebody who really, truly believes that this country has to be changed. And let me tell you something. At the convention I just went to, I met a ton of people who want to change this country. It's kind of funny because at the right convention I went to, and I've been talking to a lot of people on the left. A lot of the people on the left and the right, you guys may not have connected. You guys say the same things to me. And by the way, at least half of those righties that I talked to over the past 4 days, they all said that they hated cops too. I'm open about it. I'm not going to be dishonest. I don't have any respect for police. It's not going to happen now just because I'm going to the right. When the police have a third party over them for checks and balances, we can talk about building respect back up. Respect is earned, not appointed, not given. Do you understand? Respect is something you earn, right? Why do some of the people follow this account? Because of the knowledge. I've earned their respect because of the knowledge. I didn't earn anybody's respect because I said, hey, I'm chilly, I'm coming on here. Everybody like me. Because to be honest with you, a lot of people who even follow me tell me that I'm brash and I'm a bull in a china shop and I'm abrasive. I got a friend, a YouTuber. I never say anybody's names. I never do. I never will. I had to have this talk with him the other day. I had to say to him, listen to me, brother. Don't call me up and tell me how to be. Don't call me up and try to figure out my problems. I just want a friend, man. That's all I want. I don't need anything from you. I'm not asking anything from you. I don't need anything. I'm not asking any favors. Just be my friend. That's all I ask. And that's the same thing I'll ask of you, is just be my friend. Listen, an agent of change is not going to be liked by the left or the right. Someone who says we have to break the duopoly, there's going to be a large group of people on the left and a large group of people on the right who are going to hate the agent of change. They're going to hate that person. They're going to hate that group. By the way, it's Federalist Papers number 10. If you guys haven't read the Federalist Papers, what I'm talking about by forming a new third party is Federalist Paper number 10. If you haven't read it, it's an easy read. You can read Federalist number 10 in about 2 hours, maybe at the most. It will take you 2 hours. Greetings, everybody. I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for coming. It'll take you 2 hours, or go on YouTube and just listen to Federalist Papers number 10, and then you don't have to buy anything. You don't got to get any materials. It's on YouTube. Yeah, Democrats are not the left. My mother, who went to a Black Panther rally when she was 18. She was the only white girl at a Black Panther rally, right? Excuse me. My mother told me tonight, mandates? Yeah. That's what my mom said to me. Mandates? You bet. You got to get a vaccination. And I said, Mom, but I already had COVID. And she said, well, have your antibodies been tested? I said, for what? There's a whole country called Israel that did a study that said that I don't need my antibodies tested, that I already had. I already had it. I already had it. You understand? So now listen, to my friends on the left who've been following me and keeping up, I have to go right. I hope you understand. We always had to go right. Here, let's just do a little history lesson real quick, all right? That's what I'm good at, is I'm good at history. How many executives in America? So let's just go over it real quick so that it's clear to everybody, so you understand exactly what I'm saying. I'm going to make it really clear to you guys, all right? I have always said that we're going to have to get people on the right to vote with us to overturn racist holdings by the Supreme Court. Haven't I always said that? Yes, I have. Haven't I always said, I'm not your ally, I'm not your accomplice, don't you label me anything, I did this for me. I was no-knock rated by the cops, I didn't do this for Black people, I did it for me. Along the road of 20 years of study, I found that the laws in this country were quite literally crafted against people of color. I said that. I've said it now maybe 1,000 times. The exact same thing I just said, I've said 1,000 times. There will be no cop sucking. There will be no respect. I don't respect cops. So now how does it work? How does it work? How does a law get into action? Well, Congress writes a law, and then the chief executive, they sign the law into effect. Now, most of the laws that you live under, those are state laws. So once again, your congressional body in your state, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Oregon, doesn't matter where you live, your Congress writes a law, your executive or your governor signs the law into effect. Now, how many Black executives have there been in the history of America? Anybody? Take a guess real quick. I know the answer. I can tell you who they are. Can anybody tell me how many Black executives of state have there been through the history of time? How many? Take a guess. How many? How many governors have been Black? How many presidents have been Black? Those are the only kind of executives you can have in America, state executive or a federal executive. How many? How many? You got 0. Well, we know that Obama was one chief executive. How many? 7 is a guess. That's not correct, but keep going. Good to see you, Beastmaster. It's nice to see you. Beastmaster, I got to go right, buddy. I'm sorry, man. I know that you're a leftist. I understand that, or I don't want to define you, but I got to go left. I got to go right. I have no choice. How many executives who were Black governors or executives as president? Well, we know there's one with Obama. Come on, I'm waiting. Amazing audits, I'm waiting. Shauna says 8. How many? 3? The answer is 5. The answer is there's been 5 executives who have been Black in the history of America. That's 4 governors and 1 president. There's been 4 governors who have been executives, 4 governor executives, right? And there's been 1 presidential executive. Well, the first Black executive was 1873, and he was governor. He didn't sign any laws into effect, though. He was a placeholder. And then we have our next executive who's a governor in 2016, 2017. So how many laws have Black people signed into effect in America? Very, very, very few. Meaning that we've always needed the right's help. We've always needed the right, people on the right, to write laws in the Congress and the executive to sign those laws. Right now, who's the chief executive? It's Joe Biden. Is he white? Yes, he is. Do you need a white person to overturn the racist laws? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So on bonus points, anybody who can list the 4 black governors, go ahead and list them right here. Go ahead and list the 4 black governors. I gave you one back in 1873. Go ahead. Go ahead and list the 4 executive governors. I looked them up the other day. I researched each and every one of them with Man of Justice 007 on Instagram and on TikTok. Now, he reposted a video from someone that I don't respect, and I told him, I said, listen, I don't want to get lost in something, but so that means that we've always needed to reach out to people on the right. That's why I keep saying to people, the same people that you're calling a racist, you need them to vote with you. As a matter of fact, not only that, you need them to sign the laws into effect that overturn the racist holdings by the unelected Supreme Court. I've been saying this for a year. I've been saying the exact same thing for a God-blessed year. I've been saying the exact same thing to people. You can't do it on the left. You can't do it by yourself. It's almost like as ignorant as Blackout Tuesday. Well, if you just take one class in economics, you find out really quickly. Macroeconomics will teach you that there is no black utopian social economic plan. That's not how it works. We are one gigantic country of 314 million people, according to the 2020 census. We're one country. The way that black rap stars and hip hop artists make millions of dollars is when the white kids buy their albums, when the white adults buy their albums. The other day on TikTok, they said to me that you can't sing your favorite songs from Snoop Dogg anymore. I'm a Gen Xer. I grew up on Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and then later Jay-Z's Blueprint, along with Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, right? And so the music that Gen Xers listen to because we only had the radio. Now there's a million different stations. I was told on TikTok the other day before my accounts were banned that I'm no longer allowed to sing the words to the Snoop Dogg songs because that could get me in trouble. That's called black supremacy. When one group of people can say something, but the other group of people cannot, that's literally racism. That's racism. If you didn't know it, I would say that I might be, let's leave it plain, okay? I'm fairly educated if you haven't noticed yet, right? I can spout things off the top of my head. I don't need a book, I just know it, right? So the other day I was told that if you sing your favorite Gen X rap songs, you're a racist. Yeah, that's the truth. That's what's going on in our country right now. And it's an overwhelming message. Not just because I've been branded a racist, it's across the board. That if you sing the song that has nigga in it, you're a racist. You're a racist. Am I racist now because I said the word nigga? Can I even discuss a word? Can I discuss a word? Am I allowed to talk about a word? And the left has this idea that they're going to get it done on their own. Well, let me just tell you, throughout the history of time, that's not true, is it? Harriet Tubman didn't create the Underground Railroad by herself. Matter of fact, she didn't even create it. She just benefited from it. Who helped her? A bunch of white people all around her. Isaac Hopper started the Underground Railroad. People don't even know his name. This is the guy who started the Underground Railroad. His name was Isaac Hopper. He started it. Do you think Harriet Tubman said, sorry, Isaac, sorry, that microaggression you said, I can't get on the Underground Railroad, I'm sorry, I can't do it. No. Susan B. Anthony funded her, gave her money. Did she look at Susan B. Anthony and say, I can't take your money because the color of your eyes are blue? Is that what you think she did? No, not a chance. John Brown fought for Harriet Tubman. Do you think Harriet Tubman told John Brown, don't fight for me, don't help me? Hell no. As a matter of fact, when John Brown was hung in Virginia in 1859, in December of 1859, when he was hung, Harriet Tubman wept. And every single black person who was in slavery took a moment of peace and silence and refused to work. Did you know that? When John Brown was hung, Harriet Tubman called out to all imprisoned people in slavery, and said, one of our brethren has been slain, and they all took an hour and refused to work and refused to do anything in protest of John Brown's death. Harper's Ferry, Virginia, okay? So this idea of black supremacy that's being pushed by these people in the fold on TikTok, my friends, your ideas won't work. And your idea that we're going to go to a revolution and we're going to rebuild things, no, we're not. Not even close, bud. You try it, and I will stand strong for this American flag. You think you're going to have a revolution and you're going to create new policies? You're going to take away hundreds of years of philosophies of men that you don't even know their names? I don't think so, bud. You will find an army of men just like me who says we stand for natural law. We stand for the social contract. We stand for Montesquieu's teachings and the spirit of laws. There's 9 volumes. Have you read any of them? And you're telling me that you're going to start a revolution and you're going to start that big fat jolly piece of garbage, that guy? He's got at the top of his profile, it doesn't have to be violent, but there has to be a revolution. Show me a revolution in history that wasn't violent. You can't even control what you put in your mouth, Jolly. You can't even control what you eat. Look at you. The guy does military beginnings. Hop, 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 hop. Why don't you actually do the drill? Why don't you actually do the drill? Instead of just hop, hop, 1 and 2 and 3. Why don't you actually go through the exercise? You're in such big trouble, brother. I got all the videos. You're in such big trouble. They don't understand there's a price to pay for defamation. There's a price to pay, okay? So there will be no cock sucking. I'm going to the right. I'm going to join people on the right. Yes, I am, 100%. People who are against a mandate. People who are against a mandate. What are the last 2 mandates? Anybody? Anybody? How many people have been to this channel more than a few times? What are the last 2 mandates? What are they? They're the 1971 mandate of the war on drugs by Richard Nixon. That wasn't voted upon. That wasn't legislated. The war on drugs was not legislated. It was a mandate by Dick Nixon. Appropriate name for him, Dick. It was a mandate that created mass incarceration. What was the mandate before that? 1920 Volstead Act. It was a mandate that then got pushed through Congress and voted upon. And the people were just like my mom. Yeah, get a mandate going. And what did that do? That created the prison industrial complex. That created it. That's how we have it. It's through a mandate. We have gone through, since 1776, 1876, 1976, we're still a young country. We're 250 years old. We're not old. We're young. And we are on the precipice of failure because of the push for communism and socialism. It won't work. It won't work. Look, I had a nice conversation with Man of Justice. He's a black civil libertarian like I am. You can't identify me on the left. You can't identify me on the right. I'm what's called a civil libertarian, meaning that I've read the Constitution. I've read the Bill of Rights. I stand for it. I uphold it. I believe in it. It is the foundation and the fabric of our America that we live in today. I'm a civil libertarian. Now I'm going to have to work with people on the right because the left have shoved me away. Shoved me away. Both hands shove. And even if it's not everybody on the left, it's enough people that they got my accounts banned. And let me just tell you something. I'm a full-grown man. I get emotional about things. The way I feel about my accounts being banned because of an online cult called The Fold, mass reporting my accounts. I can't even begin to tell you the anger I have in my heart. I can't even begin to tell you. If I start to express it, I'll become very ugly. I'll become very unattractive, because the anger I have is dangerous and it's unhealthy. But I'm going to take it out on them in court. You guys can go to brandedaracist.com. I sell a mug for $125. I sell a t-shirt for $1,000. Really, I'm not kidding. A hat for $500. We got to raise $250,000. I'm not even joking. And that is to make it so that we set a case precedent that if someone calls you a racist, you'll be able to say DeCastro versus Ellis out of Virginia, or DeCastro versus Highland out of Plano, Texas. We have to set a case precedent, a modern day case precedent. The cases I have memorized that set case precedent for defamation are from 1937, 1942, 1951. Those are the cases I know that I'm not revealing here, because I'm taking these people down. They have to be taken down, right? And then what I get out of that, by the way, right, is I get, I believe it's called civil discourse. I believe it's called, I can't remember the exact term, but the judge, after I beat them in defamation, the judge can say, what do you want? And I can say, I want their accounts taken down. And he can issue an order that their accounts have to be deleted. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Someone just said no doxing. I've never doxed anybody. I've never doxed anybody in my entire life. The guy who said I doxed him is a liar. He's just lying. Just making things. When you say doxing, that means you're revealing someone's identity on the internet. I've never done that to anybody ever in my life. But there's going to be no cop sucking by me because I have to work with people on the right. I was just at this convention in Phoenix, and there was a bunch of cops there, and they were celebrated. I just walked right by them. I don't have any respect for you, buddy. You're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. If you're not part of the problem, if you're a cop and you're not part of the problem, okay, fine. Then endorse the Mullen Commission and endorse the Knapp Commission and say openly you want a third party that records cops, that has subpoena power and arresting power, and puts checks and balances on law enforcement in America. And change the name from law enforcement to peace officers. We don't want law enforcers. I don't want you enforcing a law of someone crossing the street. The guy gave me a ticket at a closed road when I had to do a U-turn and the light was red and I was in the middle of traffic because I turned into a closed road. That man, I guarantee you, when I find anybody, we maybe crowdsource this. When you find the Arizona oath, the oath of Arizona peacekeepers, they have to work within a certain rational. I know they do. I haven't found it yet. I've just been kind of getting ready to go, right? But I need to know if anybody knows the Arizona peace officers' rules of engagement. They have to use common sense. I explained to the cop 15 times, you didn't see the road was closed over there? You didn't see that I didn't have any warning and I had no choice? So if you're a cop and you want my respect in any way, shape, or form, then you have to first say, I want the Mullen Commission's recommendation that we have a third party for subpoena power and arresting power. And they collect all the body cam footage and they collect all the dash cam footage at the end of every shift. We no longer get access to it. And we no longer investigate ourselves, a third party does. The name I give it is called Montesquieu, Spirit of Laws, Checks and Balances. There will be no cop sucking. That won't happen. It won't ever happen. If you're a cop, I talked to a kid, his dad's a cop. He said, my dad's a cop. I said, great, I'm happy for your dad. I got nothing against your dad. And after I talked to the kid for maybe 15 minutes, he started to tell me how his dad told him how crappy the Phoenix Police Department was, how they were garbage, how they cheated people all the time. This is an 18-year-old kid who I met at that right convention. And he told me, after I said, listen, I don't like cops, I don't have any respect. He said, my dad's a cop. I said, I'm not trying to offend you, brother. I'm not against you. I don't hate your dad as a human being. He joined the Death Star. And guess what happens after you join the Death Star? You become evil. When you see somebody abuse someone else and you don't immediately arrest that person, you are as bad as the person doing the abuse. There will be no cop sucking. That will not happen. If some people on the right can't accept me, God bless you. Go with God. You're free. You're free. But you know what I noticed when I was there at that right convention, right? You know what I noticed? When I told them I'm coming over from the left, I'm pro-choice, I'm for reparations for American descendants of slaves in the South, where we bomb their homes. I'm for reparations for black people in the South. That hasn't changed one bit. They were like, well, we don't agree on everything. The only real issue I had with people on the right was that I'm pro-choice. That was the biggest issue I had. It wasn't even that I won't be a cop sucker. It was that I was pro-choice. That was their biggest. Some of them are just so die-hard pro-life that I'm not going to be able to reach them. All right? So now when we go down the history of time, so now what did we talk about a moment ago? And this is what I actually came on to talk about. There's been 4 governors and there's been 1 black chief executive in the history of America. That's why we have civil rights. That's why we have civil rights versus civil liberties. I've explained this a lot of times, right? We are born with civil liberties. These are your first 10 civil liberties, inalienable rights given to you by God. And if you don't want to say God because you're an atheist, that's fine. Given to you by the universe that you were spawned from, the stardust of which you were born out of. Because your mama came from the same stardust. That's just the way it is. We don't know. If you're an atheist, fine. But these inalienable rights are given to you by your creator. You are born with these rights because you're a human being. The government simply recognizes those rights, puts them on a piece of paper, and says these are inalienable rights. They can't be changed. And then, of course, the 1925 case of Carroll versus United States says we can go around your rights if we think we're chasing you or we got to get evidence off of you or someone could die. And we say that we think someone could die, then we can just scrap your rights. And that's the unelected Supreme Court. So we're born with these civil liberties. We're born with civil liberties that are inalienable rights. Civil rights are when we pass amendments because we are a democratic republic or a federal republic or a constitutional republic, however you want to see it, right? There's a lot of ways you could call it, but we are what's commonly called a federal republic. That's the actual term that's current. So what that means is that these amendments up here that are created, those are civil rights, not civil liberties. Civil rights are when a minority group, like black people who represent 12, 13% of the population, they can't get the same civil liberties that you and I are born with, right? They're not recognized because of the color of their skin, and they're discriminated against because of it. And then what happens is we pass civil rights for minority groups who don't have a democratic representation. And that's passed by what? That's passed by the federal government. That's not passed by the state government, that's passed by the federal government. A lot of people hate government, and listen, I don't know if you could loop me in with hate. It's not going good. It's not going good. It is not going good. Our government is not going good. And Joe Biden, let me just tell you something. Did you see his press release? For those of you who got vaccinated and you did the right thing, you're going to have a wonderful, glorious winter and blah, blah, blah. And the next line down is, for those of you who didn't get vaccinated, you're going to have a winter of death and destruction. This is released by Joe Biden. I hope we don't go to a civil war. Someone just said we're going to a civil war. Well, let me just tell you something. If we do, I leave America. I'm out of here. I love to fist fight someone who will fist fight me square up. It's my favorite thing to do, right? A fair fist fight between 2 men, nothing better. Have it out, boys. And when you're done, shake the other man's hand. He was man enough to ball up his fists and take you on. Have a little respect. And after you win, lose, or draw, shake the man's hand. He took you on with all that he is, his El Natural, my body against your body. May the best man win. I love a good fist fight. I'm not going to a civil war. I'm not doing it. I'm out of here. I'm going to Colombia or the Philippines. Australia used to be my safe place. Not anymore. Not anymore. Have you seen what's going on in Australia? Not anymore. Not anymore, right? I hope we don't go to a civil war. I really do. I'm talking my ass off in front of thousands of people to try to make, well, I guess it used to be thousands. It's not thousands anymore. I was deplatformed, cancel cultured. I'm coming, kids. So we are born with civil liberties. Civil rights are passed when we don't have enough of a representation in a democratic republic to vote in the proper civil rights so that you can have the same piece of the American dream. That's what civil rights are. Civil rights are not civil liberties. They're supposed to be the same thing, but they are not a civil liberty. There's a difference. And you have to understand that. So now, as we go down the history of time here, all of these laws, there are actually Supreme Court policies, were never voted upon by you and I. It was the unelected judiciary, which I talk about all the time. John Jay's writing in the Federalist Paper number 3, where he says if we appoint the right men in the right places. And that's what we're dealing with today. We've appointed the wrong men in the wrong places, and our country is in absolute shambles. We are a decimated country right now, fractured and divided. And now the new McCarthyism is that you're racist. The way they destroy you now is you're racist. And it doesn't matter what you do or say, it's racist because they said it's racist. So I got to go right. I got to go to the right. I got to go work with political people on the right. I'm going right. I'm leaving the left. I'm going right. I can't even go on TikTok Live without my account being shut down. I only have one account left with 2,500 followers. I can go live on that maybe for 15, 20 minutes before my account gets shut down. And because the Fold has someone working inside of TikTok, you guys, I'm going to get so many millions of dollars out of you. I'm going to get so many millions of dollars out of TikTok. You have no idea. Instagram as well. I'm going to get so many millions of dollars out of you. I took screenshots of everything. I screen recorded everything. As soon as it started to go down, October 24th, I started screen recording and screenshotting everything. People would create accounts with my name in them. I would report them and they wouldn't be taken down. It's called a technocracy. Have you guys ever heard of that word? Can someone type that in there? Technocracy. Have you guys ever heard of a technocracy? A technocracy is when the government colludes with technology companies to strip you of your civil liberties. Used to be called fascism. That used to be called fascism. Now it's called a technocracy. When the government colludes with Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to limit your civil liberties or your civil rights, it's called fascism, but it's also called a technocracy. You ever heard that before? A technocracy. Techmocracy. That's funny. Someone put techmocracy. I'm with you 100%. So I've been on the road. I've been traveling for the past month. I just got back, and now I'm finally in a place where I can take a moment, gather my thoughts, and create the videos that have to be created. But my outreach is now so limited. I only have so much outreach now because I was branded a racist. It's just incredible. My uncle, who we adopted when I was a kid, my uncle's 3 years younger than me. My uncle David is 3 years younger than I am. David's black. What these people who branded me a racist don't know is that David and I were raised in the same house. That I beat up lots of people who called him the N-word. Beat them down. Listen, I'm honest about it, right? I love a good fist fight. All my teeth are fake from fist fighting my whole life. I love a good fist fight. There's nothing better. Now that I'm an adult, I can admit it. MMA is popular. It's a great sport. Fist fighting another man, there's nothing better. It's the most fun you'll ever have outside of sex, right? Okay? So David and I were raised in the same house. When the neighbors called him the N-word, I'd beat up the neighbor. When the kids in junior high called him the N-word, I'd beat those kids up. In high school, when they called him the N-word, I'd beat those kids up. But now I'm a racist. Just incredible. It's like living, it would be like you walking along, and no matter what color you are or how tall you are, they're saying, you're a short black woman. And you're like, well, I'm a tall white guy. Or they go, you are a tall Asian. And you're like, no, I'm a Mexican woman. What are you talking about? That's the life I'm living right now, this total dystopia. People DM me every day calling me a racist. People who don't know me, now they can't see any of the videos that I posted because they've all been deleted. So now I have no leg to stand on. People come to me and say, you're a racist. I say, do you see my body of work? And what work can they see? If they go over to my Instagram page or they go over to my YouTube page, they can see my body of work, but they can't see it on TikTok anymore because they took it down because someone's working for the fold inside of TikTok. TikTok, you're going to be paying me millions of bucks because I'm representing myself. I'm hiring a law firm to do it with me, but I'll be the lawyer. I can't wait to get you guys on the stand. I cannot wait to subpoena your records. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait. I told you I'm so mad about it. I can't even really tell you how mad I am because it just comes off so bad. It just comes off like you're just this angry guy. And I'll be honest. I'm pretty upset. I'm pretty upset. We're living through absolute dystopia. I have trans people in my family. I'm pro-trans people. I'm not going to tell you who the family members are because I'm not trying to dox anybody in my own family, but in my family I have people who are trans. I support them being trans because that's how they see their own life. And I have he, him on my profile, not because I'm some radical leftist, but to hold space for the people who are trans in my family, that they can have a space where they say that they're this particular thing. Didn't go over good at the righty convention. Half those people believed it, half people didn't. But what I'm saying is something bigger than that. If we don't create 2 new divisions in sports, we're going to decimate women's sports. We have to get 2 new divisions in sports, trans men and trans women's divisions. If we don't, women's sports is going to be over within about 5 years. Completely wiped out, led by biological men who are now trans women. And our sports are going to be completely ruined around the world. As long as we allow this political correct leftist agenda to be pushed through, that biologically born men are now women because they say they are, or they have hormone therapy or anything else, it's garbage. It is I have a trans person in my family who's a trans man. My trans man family member will never be able to compete in sports against biological men if it comes to fighting or wrestling or track and field or javelin or hammer throw. They'll never be able to compete. Never. This isn't Billie Jean King taking on a fat white guy who said he could beat her in tennis. No, you're not playing a tennis pro who's a woman and you're a man. I'm talking about a biological born man who's now a trans woman taking on a woman in track and field. It's simply not fair, and it has to change. We can't allow it. It has to change. So I've got to adjust. I got to go over to the right. I need help. I need help to overturn Terry. We've always needed the right's help. It's not something new to me. I knew eventually we would need the right's help. These laws will not be overturned by the 4 governors and 1 chief executive we have. And if you didn't notice about Obama, he was a fall in line, do what you're told boy. Yes, massa, I'll do whatever you say. Obama was a slave, literally a slave. He did whatever he was told. Obama was terrible, horrifically bad. I campaigned for him in 2008. I got people to vote for him. I campaigned from door to door for Obama in 2008. And by 2009, because I read everything, I was saying, get rid of that man. He's a total fraud. He didn't help the black community at all. And what's really funny is I've been teaching this now for 6 months out loud to people. I teach black people, Obama didn't help you at all. And they still put up pictures of Obama as though he was great. They still put up pictures of Colin Powell. Not all black people, but some. Colin Powell was a war criminal. Colin Powell was one of the worst people on earth. On earth, Colin Powell was one of the worst people on earth. He did more damage to the globe than maybe any person in the military of all time. Any person who was in the Pentagon, no one did more destruction than Colin Powell. He's the reason why we're in the Middle East today. with his great representation of, look at this semi-truck with a trailer on the back of it. Back behind it is an elaborate weapons of mass destruction computer arsenal where they're building a giant arsenal. No, they're not. No, they weren't. No, they were not. No. They didn't want to join the central bank. That's the problem. That was the problem with Libya. They didn't want to join the central bank. Neither did Iraq wanted to join the central bank. That was the problem. It had nothing to do with weapons of mass destruction. And what did Obama say? George Bush drove us into a ditch. And then he just kept on driving. Added 2 more countries, Obama did. But yet there's black people that still celebrate Obama and still celebrate Colin Powell. While we're at it, why don't we give Condoleezza Rice a great big memorial, a great big shrine? She's not dead yet, but there will be no cop sucking. I will not respect police. Don't ask me to. Don't think I'm gonna. Don't think I'm gonna be a part of it. I'm not interested. I will not respect cops until there's a third party over them for checks and balances. I read it all the time, but there's one particular paragraph that I think is essential to understanding checks and balances that have to go into policing, or we're never, ever, ever going to have a good police force. It'll never, ever be good because power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we know that. We know it. If you gave me absolute power over you, and listen, I truly will say, I am one of the most principled individuals you will ever meet. I'm telling you, man, if something goes against my grain, I go, no way, I won't do it. You know what? I was in a car with a guy last week, just so you know, and I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but it's black people who are sending me messages calling me a racist. It is black people who deplatformed me. It is. Whether I like it or not, that's the truth. Ironically, right? I've been teaching civil liberties for months, and it was black people who did it. I was in a car last week with a guy, helping him study for the California State Bar, and he dropped the N-word. I said, no. Stop it. I said, I'm upset with some black people. Don't talk like that in front of me. And I couldn't even help my tone. It was harsh, it was aggressive, and it was hostile. I said, don't talk like that in front of me. And I made my point adamantly clear. I appreciate you having my back. I don't appreciate you disparaging an entire race. They're not N-words. They're not. It's a small group of black people who want clout and power that did this to me. And I'm taking them to court, and I'm suing them, and I'm going to have them deplatformed. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I'm not one bit. So my principles are not going to change. I'm going to remain the same principle. And even though I started to say, I'm one of the most principled people you'll meet because of the way I was raised, because of my circumstances, and because of my life's journey. I don't give a shit about your money. I don't give a shit about your fame. Oh, there's the first curse word. Dang it. Dang it. I got to get better. I guess I'm 53 minutes in. The more I talk, the more fired up I get. Forgive me for the bad language. Dang it. Anyway, as principled as I am, because I don't care about the things that you have or the things you can give me. I don't care. If you gave me absolute power over you, I would abuse it eventually. Not if, when. When. And we've given police absolute power. No one questions them. There's no third party. In the beginning of the Mullen, it talks about when the commission was coming in, how the captains and the lieutenants cleaned up their ranks real quick and said, hey, you got to straighten up. As soon as they knew someone was coming in. A considerable momentum for reform has been generated. After previous investigations, the momentum was allowed to evaporate. The question now, will history repeat itself, or does society finally realize that police corruption is a problem that must be dealt with and not just talked about every 20 years? And this is the Knapp Commission report of 1972. Not the Mullen Commission. This is a quote from the Knapp Commission of 1972 that did their own 3-year investigation on policing. And in the Knapp Commission, it said, momentum has been gained. When do we finally take police corruption seriously and put in a third party with both subpoena power and arresting power? And if you ever hear we're getting a civilian review board, you put your foot down and you say, the heck we are. I'm not for it. I'm for a third party. When you say defund, you say take the money and you fund a third party organization. There will be no cop sucking. That won't happen. That will never happen. Now, when we have a third-party organization that was recommended by both the Knapp and the Mullen, and we have checks and balances on cops, and we know that that cop didn't just go and rob someone and beat up that guy and then do that to that woman or that guy, which, by the way, Caligula was famous for saying, it takes any man can how do I say that? It's got bad language in it. Any man can do a woman, but it takes a real man to do a man. Anybody know about Caligula, 42 AD? Okay. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? What's the most important thing? That we get a third party over the top of cops that has subpoena power and arresting power. I'll tell you, the cops at Turning Point, the cops that I met at Turning Point, that I saw at Turning Point, who were celebrated wearing their vests that said sheriff on it, and all these right-wingers were around them like, oh, it's Sheriff so-and-so. They don't know that guy's an absolute tyrant piece of garbage. There will be no cop sucking. If you think there's going to be cop sucking here, you're wrong. There will be no cop sucking for me. I don't respect cops. I don't like cops. That's not going to change. I'm going right. The people on the left who've been with me, thanks for coming. I hope you come. The mission of Overturn Terry does not stop. You guys, please follow my new Instagram, Chili DeCastro 2022. That great big fat guy in Virginia, Jolly's friend, U.S. Army Overlord. I'm in fight shape. I've been doing sprints. I'm in shape. I finally told that guy today, when I come serve Jolly in Virginia, if you want to set up in a cage or in a field, I'm more than willing to meet you. He's a black guy. He's like 6'5" and like 280. Great big black guy called U.S. Army Overlord. I told him, hey, bud, I'll see you in Virginia. He reported my comment. You were so tough, though, when I was in Missouri. When everybody's calling me a racist, you were such a tough guy. I'm more than willing to meet you in a field. Just a field. Bring your friends. You need someone to stop me after I put you on the ground, you piece of garbage. Your best bet's to get in a cage where there's going to be a ref that stops me after you're done, because you'll be done. I love Tulsi. Listen, I'm becoming a Ron DeSantis man myself. I really am. You know, DeSantis was the one who pinpointed that if we lose kids by first grade, it was a DeSantis study. It was done at the was it the Breyer Institute? I can't remember the institute. I think it was the Breyer Institute in Florida. DePaul Institute? Damn it. Sorry, I can't remember. Ron DeSantis funded a study based on black incarcerated men in their 20s and 30s. DeSantis funded it because they have isn't it amazing? Florida has a prison problem. They can't house as many people as they have in prison today. Amazing. What's going on there? We know what's going on. It's the war on drugs. You create an economy where only the top 1 or 2% make money. And so what are people going to do? They're going to deal drugs. So DeSantis did a study. I still don't have the name of that institute right. And he said that if we lose kids, black kids, by first grade, if they can't read and write, if you don't read to your kid for at least 20 minutes a day up until through first grade, that there's a very good chance that your kid ends up in the prison cell. They traced it back. DeSantis did this. Ron DeSantis did it. I'll have the name of the organization because my OCD will eventually get it, and maybe I'll put it in the comments, okay? And he found that we don't lose kids by 5th grade or 4th grade or 3rd grade, by first grade. If your kid can't read, basic reading comprehension, then what happens by 2nd grade, The other kids are reading books that are interesting, like Where the Red Fern Grows. I think I read Where the Red Fern Grows in 2nd or 3rd grade. I could always read. My parents made me learn how to read at a very young age. I had to learn my times table before I was 5. I learned how to do 2 times 2, 3 times 2, 4 times 2, 5 times 2. I learned the entire multiplication table by the time I was 5 years old. And so when we get to 2nd grade and those kids are reading books, like my favorite childhood book is Where the Red Fern Grows. If you have not read Where the Red Fern Grows, I mean, maybe when I'm an adult now, it might be a little childish, but it's about a kid with his dogs, and it's a real heartwarming story. I sobbed, I mean, tears pouring down my face like you can't imagine. DeSantis did a study, and he found that if we lose him by 1st grade, we lose the kid, we lose the man. That kid who can't read by 1st grade, we lose him as a human being. He ends up in a dungeon because we have an industrial prison complex created by mandates. We have an industrial prison complex created by mandates. We have an industrial prison complex created by mandates, by the prohibition mandate and by the war on drugs mandate. So, feels good to be in shape. I'll tell you that. Feels good to be in shape. Feels good to be in shape. Feels good to be in shape. You know, I was talking to one of my friends. He was watching earlier. My friend was watching earlier. Resist Evil. My friend was watching earlier, and we were talking about fasting and intermittent fasting and how much it can change your life. Let me tell you something. I'm dialed in. I'm dialed in. I am dialed in from intermittent fasting. I don't eat all day till the end of the day, and then I have my dinner. And for the last week or two, because I've been on the road, it's been pizza, burgers, milkshakes. That's been my whole dinner by the last, for the last 2 weeks as I've been on the road traveling. I've been on the road meeting with people. So if you guys would, brandedaracist.com is a fundraiser. Brandedaracist.com is a fundraiser. DeleteLaws.com is still up. Delete Laws with a Z. If you guys are so inclined and you want to participate, thanks a lot. I will be getting some money out of Talib the Dweeb, out of Jolly Ginger, out of I Speak, out of Aunt Karen, if she has any money. She's actually literally, if you do the research on her criminal history, Aunt Karen is not, she gets evicted from her houses. She doesn't pay her bills. She often flees. I mean, there's records of this. So I'm not slandering or libeling her. There's literally records of this. So if it's the truth, then that's one thing. If it's not, it's slander, libel. And she's one of those people I'm suing in federal district court, but not in California. No. I think I'm going to sue Aunt Karen in Utah. Pretty sure. Along with Lethal Lex, where their bookstore is. Her husband owns a bookstore. That's going to be my bookstore. You guys really made a mistake. And if you take so the difference between criminal law and tort law is criminal law is the people versus you, the people versus whoever. Tort law is plaintiff versus defendant. It's not criminal law. Now, tort law can turn into criminal law. It can turn into a criminal case if you prove criminality has been done, which is what I'll be doing against the Fold. They've defrauded thousands of people and ran them off an app to their benefit. This is legal stuff. It's very simple if you understand the terminology. But when you run people off of an app so that there's more people flocking to you as the influencer and those people are ran off, then you make more money, you make more fame, you have more gain. And so that's called your benefit. And that can then become a RICO case because there's thousands of people involved with the Fold. What's going to happen is TikTok is going to have to remove all accounts that have ever put the Fold on them, or I Am the Fold, or Crown of the Fold, or any of that. What's going to happen is there's going to be a big cleansing. It's going to take a year, but then I'll take them all down. I'll take them all down. I'm going to take them all down. I'm down. So you guys, they're watching my videos. If you guys see these videos, you're welcome to do whatever you want. I don't want you to take clips of my video and make fun of me. That's intentional infliction of emotional distress. You might want to look into that. You might want to take a look at what I'm talking about. Okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to find out in court. Anyway, it starts to get me mad. I start to get pissed off, and I don't want to become unlikable because I'm upset. But so I guess this was a video to the people who have stuck up with me, who have been my friends and stuck with me through the whole time. I really appreciate you guys. There are people who supported me who have Venmo'd me and Cash at me, thank you so much. I'm still floating at zero. I'm still floating at zero. They successfully defunded my company. They got me fired from my job. Not fired, I'm released as a corporate officer because of the thousands and thousands of phone calls. They've hurt me. And by the way, that was going to happen anyway, but it doesn't matter. It's now their fault. It's their fault. They blew up 5 people in that office with 2,000 phone calls. So there's going to be a price to pay. And I can prove damages, which defamation per se is malice, defamation with malice. So I don't have to prove damages. I can submit my damages financially and say, this is what I've been hurt, and this is a lifetime hurt because I'm a civil libertarian, and now there's a large sect of people who will always see me as racist, meaning I need to be compensated for that. Talib, yeah, bud, you got the money. I hope your book does really well. I really do. I hope you get a lot of sales. I do. Praying for you, brother. Praying for you. So, no. Whoever just said that, I don't know what exactly you said. That's not what it is, my friend. That's whoever just said that. Make fun of me or I'll sue. That is not defamation. That is not defamation. That is not defamation. You can't just make fun of someone and they sue you. That's not how it works. I know you don't know anything about tort law, but maybe you might want to look into it because I'm not going to educate you. If I could just block you, I just would immediately. Whoever just said that, I would just block you because there's people like you in the world that make the world a worse place. You say stupid things and you don't know what you're talking about. When someone decimates your reputation from 20 years of studying constitutional law, ends your business, gets your online store ends and you don't make any more money from it, and you can prove losses and they paint you in a negative light, that's not true. That's called defamation. And if a right-thinking person or if they're an authority, there's so many things here. It's just like you just say stupid things and it's just whatever. You're just part of the mob, dude. You're part of the mob. So anyway, listen, I want to say thank you to the people who have supported me and who have believed in me. My friends in Ohio, my friends who drive, my friends who have been with me the whole way, my hometown friends. I have hometown friends who called me when this happened and said, oh my God, how are you going to live? Let me help you. And it's just, I mean, I've just had enough. I've just had enough to keep my wheels on the car. Just had enough. And it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a grind. But I'm not going to become a cop sucker because I got to go to the right. I'm not going to change my stance on being pro-choice. I'm not going to change my stance that the laws created in our country were based on race because there's factual history. I'm not going to discriminate against black people because some black people have deplatformed me. That's only some of them. There's still thousands and thousands of black people who completely believe and know that it has to be legislation and that these people who did this to me are charlatans. We have to overturn white supremacy. How do you overturn white supremacy, bud? You're such a moron, dude. We got to overturn white supremacy, the guy said, by taking down the institutions that support white supremacy. So you're calling for a revolution against our government. We are opposed. And that comment you made that I have recorded and downloaded, it's going to be the demise of you and your page. You are going to be deleted. You guys don't think so? Let's see. All right, I'm getting pissed off because I start to get into the minutia of the case and it just makes me angry. So I won't take you up any more of you guys' time. I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. I want to say thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Delete Laws is still up. If you guys want to get a poster, please go grab a digital poster or get a hard copy poster. I still have 90 hard copy posters in stock. Obviously, they decimated my small store, so I don't get any sales anymore because I can't go on TikTok Live. After I teach for an hour on TikTok Live, people buy my products, but no one's buying my products because I can't go on TikTok Live, and I now have no audience. So it is what it is, but the posters are still available. The digital posters are still available. The ebook is still amazing. The ebook still teaches you 20 Supreme Court cases that you need to know, and it's the actual holdings of the Supreme Court cases. So the ebook is still amazing. You can print it out at home. I'm going to get hard copies done this next year, but I'm just going to be so busy doing what I'm doing. And then the Branded a Racist gear on brandedaracist.com is really funny. The mug, it says Branded a Racist. It's really funny. The logo on the hat is really funny. I mean, I'm going to put an online store together so they can buy them without paying for $500 or $1,000. I just, in my spare time, right? In my spare time, as you can hear, my voice is gone from talking for 3 or 4 days straight. And And thanks, T-Roy. I appreciate your support. My voice has gone from talking for 3 days straight and just running myself down, shaking hands with thousands of people. And so it's like, yeah. Anyway. All right, listen, if you guys have any questions for me, don't hesitate to email me or to DM me. I absolutely, please follow my new account, ChiliDeCastro_2022. Send me a direct message because I don't add anybody anymore. It's on Delete Laws with the Z. T-Roy, we put the name of the website up there, Delete Laws with a Z. You guys can go to Delete Laws with a Z. You can get my ebook on Delete Laws with a Z. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It's been Merry Christmas to you too. This has been the absolute weirdest last few months of my life that I never thought I would be living. I never thought I would have to say I'm not racist. I never thought I would have to say that. Never. Merry Christmas to you too. Shauna, thanks. Shauna's a good friend of mine and a supporter. I appreciate you, Shauna. Thank you. I just never thought I would have to say that I'm not a racist. I never thought those words would have to come out of my mouth. My track history, my family, my life, everything I've ever done. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It really is. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for tuning in. I super appreciate it. I'm just going to post this online as it is, and we'll just continue forward. Have a good weekend and Merry Christmas to you guys too. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll go on live again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to do a big, long history lesson. I'm going to go up and down this chart tomorrow, and I'm just going to teach probably 2 hours of just straight history tomorrow. I don't know how. Hey, how you doing, Jeremy? I don't know how to set a preset that I'm going to go live. So if anybody wants to tell me how I can set a preset that I'm going to go live tomorrow, but I'm going to go live tomorrow, and I'm just going to do a 2-hour history lesson on how our country was formed, on the Bill of Rights, on the Federalist Papers, on the Spirit of Laws. I'm going to go into some pretty good detail of things I've talked about before, but I'm also going to appeal more to people on the right as well now because they have to understand how the country was formed and the reason why we have to respect the foundation of the country and at the same time change the Supreme Court that has fundamentally destroyed our country and worked against our freedoms. The guy posted today about Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas was a piece of garbage, and he still is. That's not going to change. So, all right. Thanks for your time. I hope this talk made sense. No cop sucking. No cop sucking. There will be no cop sucking. Got it? Okay, good. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later, Gator.